Hey guys, this is Miss Gibbon here. Today in class we were doing a quizzes to help us review for our exam. I decided to go ahead and make a video explaining every single problem. If you wanted to rewatch and study, if you want to replay it again, I have the game code. This is only available until September 30th, so about 7 more days. So you can go back all the time and look at the problems. But you can play the game. And so the standards that our Unit 1 covers is going to be right here. We're going to be covering combining like terms, distributive property, multi-step equations, literal equations, and linear inequalities. So let's get started to it. The pictures are a little, I kind of enlarged it from the quiz, so it's kind of blurry. But this question is saying Ashlyn is making a banner in the shape of a triangle. She wants to outline the banner with a decorative border. How long will the border be in terms of B? So, with that being said, I'm looking for how long it's going to be all the way around, which is the perimeter. So if I'm looking for a perimeter, that means I know I'm going to add up all my sides. So I'm going to add up 9b plus 8, and then 12b minus 8, and 12b minus 8, and I'm going to put them all together. So 8 minus 8 is 0. 0 plus 8 is, or 0 plus negative 8 is negative 8. And then 9 plus 12 is 21. 21 plus 12 is 33. B. And that's your answer. That is the perimeter. I add up all the sides. And it's in terms of B because I have B in my answer. I'm not solving for B. Okay. Let's go to the second problem. The dimensions of a rectangle, so I have a rectangle, are 3x plus 4, 3x plus 4, and 4x minus 1, x minus 1. And I want to know the polynomial, the expression best represents the perimeter. So again, I'm adding all my sides together. Now, don't get confused on that polynomial. Polynomial just is a fancy way of saying an expression with more than one term. So, and then I have another 4x minus 1. And I'm going to put them all together because I'm looking for the perimeter. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 4 is 14, x, and there's my perimeter, which is B. Let's try another one. This is distributive property. So, distributive, but also combining like terms. So, we have 4x plus 5 and another 4x plus 5. The exponent is 2, so that means I am multiplying it by itself. But this distributive property is a little bit more advanced. Okay? So you have to think about that. So 4x times 4x is 16x squared. Because if you remember, exponents means if I have x and x, then I have two x's. So let's have x squared. And I'm going to take this first number, and I'm also going to multiply it by the second. 4x times 5. Well, 4x times 5 is 20x. But I'm not done. Because this one's distributive property is a little bit more advanced, that you have a second term you have to multiply by. So 5 times 4x is 20x. And then 5 times 5 is 25. Now that I distribute, I can combine my like terms. So I have x squared, but I don't have anything else that's x squared. So that is final, 16x squared. My next is I have 20x and another 20x. So 20 plus 20 is 40x. And then 25 is all by its lonesome, so I'm just adding 25. And that is going to be answer choice B. So all this one did was just add an extra step. It wasn't anything very difficult. You just got to make an extra step for it. Okay, I'm going to keep going. And you can pause this anytime, guys. If y'all are getting a little confused or going too fast, pause, rewind. Okay, so the next question is more of distribution. It's distributive property and combining like terms. This time we're putting it together. So I'm going to do that. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Plus, now this is an invisible 1. So 1 times x is still x. And 1 times negative 3 is still negative 3. So I'm going to combine my like terms. My x, 2 plus 1 is 3x. And then negative 4 plus negative 3 is negative 7, which is C. Okay, I believe we're on problem 5, I think. Okay, this one, it was a very tiny, it was bigger when I put it in. I didn't know why it shrunk, but we'll go with it. Okay, no, we're going to try our best. So the problem is 10 minus 3 times 2x minus 2 equals negative 2. And what you were doing in this problem is it's asking, what is the second step? So what is the step I'm going to do right after this? Well, that's to distribute, guys. There's a distributive property. So my 10 stays the same, but now I'm multiplying negative 3 times 2x and times negative 2. So negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And then you have equals negative 2. So this question wasn't asking you to solve for x. It just wants to know what is the second step. So when I'm looking at my answer choices, that is going to be B, because B tells you to do that. So I want y'all to make sure tomorrow when you're taking your exam, you are really just breathing through it and reading what the question asks. Okay, next problem. I don't remember which number this is. I'm assuming it's number 6. So number 6. Now, I'm reading solve. Then it says 3x minus 4y equals 12 for y. So what it's saying is solve for y. But the problem in this equation is 3x minus 4y equals 12. So I know the wording is kind of confusing there, but I hope seeing that will help you explain what it's asking. So if I'm looking for y, remember with equations, we box what we want. I want y. I don't care about x no more. So I'm just going to box my y. And I'm going to do the opposite of what's next to it. So right now, what's next to it is it's adding that 3x to it. So I'm going to get rid of that 3x by subtraction. My 3x's cancel out. And what I'm left with is negative 4y equals 12 minus 3x. If you remember with literal equations, I'm solving for a missing variable, but my answer isn't going to be numerical. So my answer right now is not numerical. I don't know what x is, so it just stays there. So now I look at this and I want y by itself. So the inverse of multiplication is division. That means I divide everything by negative 4. So essentially, y is going to equal 12 divided by negative 4 minus 3 divided by negative 4x. Well, none of those are the answers. And the reason why none of those are answer choice is because it's not simplified. So I'm going to simplify it. So 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. So I know negative 3 is there. So I can eliminate A and I can eliminate C because they don't have minus 3. Next, I see a minus 3 divided by negative 4. Well, negative divided by negative is a positive. So I'm adding 3/4 times x, which is D. Number 7. Solve the following inequality. So I have 3x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 5x minus 6. Now, on inequalities and equations, I like to take the symbol and cut it in half just to separate my left side versus my right. I cannot touch the left unless I touch the right, so I separate that to keep it separate. And then I box my variable. I don't have any distributive property, so I'm good with there. And I don't have combining like terms, so now I just need to get my variable on one side. Well, to do that, I have to get rid of my smallest variable. So right now we have 3x versus 5x. Well, the smallest is 3. So let's get rid of the 3x. And I'm left with 4 is greater than or equal to 2x minus 6. Still not done. I want x. So to get x by itself, I have to do the inverse of subtracting 6, which is adding 6. So 4 plus 6 is 10, greater than or equal to 2x. So that brings me to my last step. The inverse of multiplication is division. I need to divide by 2. And I get x is less than 5. Now, I know I have less than or equal to, but right now it looks greater than or equal to. So what I do was I turn my paper around and I rewrite it where x is on the left, the 5 is on the right. the little point is facing the x. So that means my point faces the x. And the only answer choice to that is B. Okay, trying another problem. Distributive again. -2 times -x minus 1 minus, but guys, there's an invisible 1. Invisible 1 times x plus 1. So when I'm distributing, I need to make sure I'm taking the outside, which is how many groups there are, and multiplying by everything in each group. So -2 times -x is positive 2x. And -2 times -1 is positive 2. Next, I do the same thing. -1 times x is -x. -1 times 1 is -1. And then I just combine my like terms. 2x's minus 1x is x. And then 2 minus 1 is 1, which is F. Okay, problem number 9 is the perimeter of the following triangle is 36. Perimeter. Again. But this time they tell you it is 36. So 36 is equal to adding all the sides. So what are the lengths of the sides of the triangle? So, we got a double. So let's start with perimeter. So the sides of this triangle that I'm adding together is 3x minus 6 plus x plus 6 plus 2 times x plus 6. That's a whammy. So right now, I have this equation. What my goal is I need to find the lengths of the triangle. So that means I need to first find x. Then I need to plug x in to each side. And then I get my side lengths. So we need to first find x. So I'm going to put my equation. And in order to solve an equation, you have to always distribute if possible, combine like terms, get the variable on one side, and then solve for it. So let's distribute. Okay, so I have 2 times x is 2x. So right now I have 3x minus 6 plus x plus 6 plus 2x plus 2 times 6, 12. Then I combine my like terms. So I'm going to combine my x's together. So 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6x. Combine my constants. -6 plus 6 is 0. 0 plus 12 is 12. And that's equal to 36. Yay, it's so much easier now, right? So much prettier. Now, we solve for x. I box my variable. Instead of adding 12, I'm going to do the inverse. And I get 24 is equal to 6x. I want x by itself, so the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 6. And I get x is equal to 4. Whew, all that work, and x is 4. But am I done? No, I'm not done. I still need to plug x in. So 3 times 4 minus 6. That's 12 minus 6 is 6. That means I can eliminate C and D. Then I have 2 times 4 plus 6. Well, order of operations, parentheses is first. 4 plus 6 is 10. And 2 times 10 is 20. So A is wrong. That means B is my answer. But just to make sure, 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. So that one's a multi-step problem, but it is everything you have learned. It is actually the combining like terms. It's the distributive property. It is solving an equation, and it is also plugging in. It's like 4 skills all in one problem. That's why this is one of the best problems to have. Okay. Now let's try number 10. The following formula is used to find the area of a circle. Area equals pi r squared. What equation is used to find the radius? Means I want this little bitty radius. So what I need to do is I need to do the inverse of what's happening. Now this is a literal equation. And a literal equation means you don't have a numerical value. So we need to know that we're not going to look for a number. We just want the r by itself. So what's happening to r right now is it's being squared and multiplying. So I need to go backwards. Instead of multiplying, I divide. And I'm left with r squared equals area divided by pi. But I want r by itself. I know that the inverse operation of being squared is to do what is called the square root to both sides. That means r is equal to the square root of area divided by pi. And that's J. Ooh, what a doozy, right? But I know this may seem confusing to y'all, but you know this, and I know you do. Just try, breathe through this. I don't want y'all quitting on me. Please don't quit on me. And I believe you still have a few more problems left. But, let's see. Oh, just the last one. This is the last problem. Last problem under the review. And you're solving the inequality. So I'm going to rewrite the inequality. Negative 3 times 2x minus 5 is less than negative 13 plus x. I'm going to separate my left and right side. And I can't do anything because I need to do my distributive property. So negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15, less than negative 13 plus x. I'm I'm going to box my variables. Oopsie. And I'm going to get rid of the smallest variable. Which one's smaller, -6 or +1? -6. So I'm going to add 6x to both sides. And I get 15 is less than -13. 1 plus 6 is 7x. I'm still going to box my variable. And I'm going to do the inverse operation of addition and the inverse of -13, which means I'm going to add 13 to both sides. -13 and a +13 is 0. So I get 7x is greater than 28. I'm going to divide by 7. And I get x something 4. Now remember, where's my point? Point's right there. It's the opposite of the x. On top of that, my x was positive. So since I did not multiply and divide by a negative integer, then my inequality stays the same with the point facing away from the x. So x is greater than 4, which is f. And that was the last question on your review. Remember to use your study guide that we've been doing for homework since Monday. Study tonight. You'll be fine. Have a good night, guys. Bye.